Welcome back to Bluegrass on this beautiful June day. It's kind of a crazy day. Can't decide whether it's sunny and hot or cloudy and not so hot. See, look, here comes the sun. And so whenever it gets sunny, we can't keep the dogs out of the pool if you're wondering why the dogs are wet, right? Okay, so what we're talking about today is basically the difference between field bred and show bred Labrador Retrievers, okay? Now, in the past, I kind of use a common terms for these two types of dogs, which would be English Labrador Retriever and American Labrador Retriever. And that's not really accurate, and always in the comment section, somebody gives me a hard time about it. So today we'll talk about field versus show, okay? So I'm walking Millie, and Charlotte is walking Annie. And Millie is a conformation bred Labrador Retriever, and Annie is a field bred Labrador Retriever. And so basically the difference between those two types of dogs is when people are talking about English, take her back there just a little bit there, Charlotte. People are talking about English Labrador Retrievers. They're kind of talking about a short, blocky dog with a wide head, wide base of a tail, right? Okay, kind of looks like this. Now let me move her over here. Okay, you stay there for a second. And when people are talking about, you know, like field-bred dogs, you're going to get a taller, rangier dog, and most notably, you're going to a lot of times get this, which is kind of a narrow head, right? Okay, and like what the perfect thing is, right, is to get a really majestic-looking Labrador Retriever with a big chest and a big head and an otter tail that loves to fetch, right? Okay, and those are hard to come by. Generally, you know, what I say is Miss America don't cook eggs, right? So if you get a dog that's too good looking, they don't fetch. If you get a dog that fetches too well, then they probably ain't that good looking, right? And that's kind of that's how I look at it. Now, Charlotte, like, what do you think when you're talking about, like, if somebody asks you what's the difference between an English Labrador Retriever and a field-bred Labrador Retriever? What's your easy way to explain it?
A, this one's fatter, and B, it has a lot less energy than Annie.
Okay, fatter and a lot less energy. Okay, there you go. But are they both friendly?
Oh, yes.
Are they both outgoing?
Mm-hmm.
Are they both easy to train?
Yep.
Okay, so both the types of dogs are friendly, outgoing, and easy to train. Now, with dogs like Millie, listen, they love to eat. I mean, they love to eat. Now, Annie likes to eat. Annie loves to fetch and likes to eat. Millie loves to eat, and she loves to eat. Okay, so the great thing about the conformation bred dogs is that, like, you know, it just doesn't take much in the way of effort, come on nerd, to get a good base level of training on them. Now, if you'll notice, watch when Charlotte comes through there, when we talk about a base level of training around here, we're talking about 9 things, okay? We want a dog to come when we call it. We want it to be still when we tell it. We want it to have good manners. Come on, nerd. From the neighbor's perspective. Come on, come on. And we want, now if you'll notice here, this is another key difference between these two types of dogs. You see how Millie's being a little hesitant? You can go back to last week's videos and you can see Millie hopping over this, this obstacle all the time. Today, we kind of stirred up an ant's nest, and ants got all over Millie, and now she is afraid of this obstacle. But watch Annie when she comes up it, and she's not going to pay any attention, right? She's just going to walk. So you see how, like right here, you can see the hesitation and nervousness on this dog because she's afraid of the ants. Annie, she's not afraid of anything. So, you know, that's a good thing if you want a brave, outgoing dog that loves to try new stuff. But, you know, brave, outgoing dogs that try new stuff oftentimes get themselves in trouble, okay? So back to what I was saying about basic obedience. Like I said, we need dogs that do 9 things. We need them to come when they're called. We need them to be still when they're told. We need them to have good manners from the neighbor's perspective. We need them to start social situations off by being calm, attentive, and polite. And we need them to refrain from behavior that's dangerous, destructive, or rude. And both of these dogs are more than capable of those 2 things, okay? The English bred Labrador Retrievers, or the conformation bred, it's easier to accomplish those 9 things at any given labor input level. So in other words, the amount of labor that it takes to exercise this dog, to manage it physically properly, is much lower than the amount of effort it takes to manage Annie, okay? The number of repetitions that it takes to get this dog to learn to be calm, attentive, and polite in social situations is much lower than what it is for Annie, because Annie has a zest for life that is just incredible. And that's what you'll notice, come on nerd, that's what you'll notice about the field bred dogs, is if I had to describe them, I would say they have an insatiable zest for life. and their life revolves around fetching. So if you wanted to say that they have an insatiable, you know, like love of fetching, then that's pretty good too. That's a good way to describe it. Charlotte, does every person want a dog that loves to fetch when they talk to us? Like when they talk about Labrador Retrievers, don't they always talk about fetching?
Yeah.
Okay, but what's the truth about having a dog that likes to fetch a lot?
They don't really look nice.
No, well, okay. You're not supposed to say that part out loud, okay? But what is it? What do you have to do with a dog that has a lot of energy for fetching?
You have to exercise.
You have to exercise them, okay? So what people really want, if you know, I mean, if you boil it down, okay? Yeah, you got to be careful when you have kids in videos because sometimes they just tell the truth too much, right? But if you boil it down, right? People think they want a dog that loves to fetch. But ultimately, if you get a dog that's high energy, high endurance, and high drive, well, you got to fool with that dog a lot. And people, if they could really be honest with themselves, what they would say is, I want a dog that really likes to fetch whenever I'm in the mood to play fetch. And that's not how dogs work. If you get a dog like Annie, yes, she does love to fetch, and she is up for a fetching game, you know, at any time of the day or night. Okay, the problem is, okay, to manage her properly, you better get out and play fetch with her. Otherwise, when you're sitting there trying to play on your computer or watch TV or eat dinner, there's going to be a dog head dropping a ball in your lap over and over and over. And they're going to be looking at you. They're going to look at you. You want to go play fetch? You want to go play fetch? You want to go play fetch? You want to go play fetch?
That's our dog.
Yeah, that's our dogs. We have to, dog trainers, listen guys, I don't tell you how dog trainers cheat. Dog trainers always buy dogs that are good at motion exercises. They always, now again, watch this hesitation. Dog trainers buy dogs that make them look good. So they're high drive and they're high energy and they look really good, especially in Instagram clips, right? Okay, but living with a dog that's high drive and high energy is a lot different than it looks on Instagram, okay? So we're gonna let these dogs kind of pal around with us today. We just wanted to demonstrate here that both types of dogs are equally good at learning basic obedience, right? We wanted to show you kind of how they look a little bit different. Let me get this one right up here by Charlotte's dog so you can see both of them look kind of the same. Stay there, stay there. Now let's let the people look at them, Charlotte. Okay, so both of those dogs, they just did our little basic obedience course the same way. I mean, look pretty much similar. You might notice Annie's a little fidgetier and Millie's a little bit more hesitant with certain things, okay? But they both can do basic obedience great. They both love kids. They both love other dogs. I mean, they're really awesome, right? They both like to eat. Millie loves to eat, and one of them loves to fetch. Okay, all right, very good dogs. But they are different to live with in terms of what it takes to be successful. So we're just gonna let them pal around with us today as we do stuff, and we'll get a little video of everything that we do, and then you guys can compare and contrast, and then you can decide whether or not a field-bred lab is right for your family. Now, so Charlotte, who do you think a field-bred lab would be good for in terms of a family? Like,
family?
Well, our family, but what kind of stuff do we do every day?
We walk around and play with the dogs.
Yeah, okay, there you go. We walk around and play with dogs a lot, all right? So the more that you like to walk around and play with dogs, then the more likely it is that you're gonna be satisfied with a field-bred dog. Now, the more you like to walk around and hang out with your friends and do stuff with your friends, okay, and you're kind of egocentric, the more likely it is that you're gonna do a little bit better with a lower drive, lower energy, you know, confirmation bred or English bred dog, you know? And I know you people in England are gonna say, Stoney, you can't call it, I know, but that's what they call them over here, right? So field versus show or English versus American, however you want to call it. Just watch for the stuff that we do over the rest of the day and, you know, post your thoughts in the comments below. All right, so Charlotte and I are going to go out in the yard and we're going to demonstrate doing some recall exercises with Annie, and we're going to start off motivating her with food and attention, and then we're going to introduce a retrieving item to the mix, and when we get done with that, we'll get Millie and we'll do the same thing. That way you guys can kind of see a difference in the dog's energy level and their endurance level. You ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, so let's go over here. Now you position yourself, can't go too far right now because we have to be able to see it. Just go down that way just a little bit farther. Okay. Then I'll kind of wedge myself over here, cameraman. Can you see us both? All right, so now this is American bred or field bred Labrador Retriever. We're gonna call her back and forth, just giving her treats and attention. So I'm gonna call her, Annie, come. So you can see that food work training, go ahead, Charlotte, is very effective with this type of dog. Annie, come. A very good dog. She likes to eat, she likes attention. Now what I want you to do is I want you to kind of watch and notice. Annie, come on. See, yeah, she's kind of springy and kind of full of energy. Call her. And so this kind of exercise, you can just stack, Annie, a lot of successful repetitions on one of these field-bred dogs. You know, you have to remember that this dog's parents and grandparents and great-grandparents were all bred specifically because they can handle a whole lot of training volume. Annie, come. And we can play this game until Annie looks like she's really enjoying it. Annie, come. And at this distance, she really might not ever get tired. You know, she might just do it all day, might she, Charlotte? Okay. Yeah. Now, so okay, now let's just take and we'll introduce the retrieving item. Here, Charlotte, you step back this way. Come over here with me. Well, here, I'll even let you throw it. Now, you just take, now, because a lot of times, what do you guys want? You want a dog that'll play fetch with your children. So you're going to just throw it down that mowing line right there. Okay. And here, cameraman, come up here kind of behind her a little bit so you can see. And just play fetch with her, Charlotte. Don't make her do anything in particular. Just grab your retrieving item and then throw it again. Very nice. And then throw it. Good. Now, this time when you get it, walk down there to where you've been throwing it and throw it back up here towards your mom and I. Okay, now walk down there. Walk down there a little ways. Now, cameraman, you come right up here. Now, go a little farther, Charlotte. Okay, and throw it right at your mom. And this game here, it can go on a really long time, guys, because this dog has a tremendous amount of desire to fetch, and she has a lot of endurance, and she has just a whole lot of love for that game. Now, if you have a kind of child that's going to get out, you know, in the morning, in the afternoon, and before bed, and play with a dog like this, then, hey, listen, I mean, it's a good choice. It's a really good choice for you. But you got to be honest. You got to be honest, because every child that comes out here, we give them the opportunity to walk dogs and play fetch with dogs, and only about 1 out of, what did you say, 100, cameraman? About 1 out of 100 will come out here and, you know, really, you know, put these dogs through their paces. Most of them will walk the dog for about 2 or 3 minutes, and they'll play fetch about 2 or 3 times, and then they're ready to get back on their mom's iPhone. Okay, but if you have the kind of kid that loves to be outside, loves to go hiking, loves to go swimming, loves to play fetch, okay, then this kind of dog is perfect for them. Okay, well, and so since Annie's really honestly probably never going to stop fetching, right, we'll just go ahead and get Millie, and we'll do the same kind of, you know, set of exercises with them. All right, now we're going to do the same exercises with Millie. Okay, Charlotte, so you kind of go down this way a little bit, and I'll go over here, and we'll start off with a little bit of food work. Millie, come. So now notice, on the first couple of recalls, Millie's going to be full of energy, you know. Millie, come. And we can get quite a few reps with Millie. I mean, she's pretty energetic for this type of dog. But if you watch this and you go back and you play it alongside Annie's, what you'll notice is this dog doesn't cover the same amount of ground. She's not as springy. And you can already see about the 3rd or 4th rep, Millie, she's starting to kind of slow down just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to move over this way. Now, Charlotte, you go down that, run down that swag and up that hill a little bit, and let Millie chase you, and then I'm going to call her, and we're going to look at her overall, you know, exuberance level after 2 or 3 recall exercises. So go on down that way. There you go. Can you see her, cameraman? Okay, so you can see right there, Millie's happy, and she loves Charlotte. She likes to go with Charlotte, and I'm going to call her. It's a good, excited recall. Very nice. Pretty excited. Millie, come on. Now she's doing a lot like Annie. Yeah. So Millie and Annie, they have a lot of similarities. I mean, they both have the same basic attitude. It's just kind of like their bodies, their physicality limits the expression of their personalities. Millie, come on. For example, when we get done with this little session that we're doing right here, Millie is going to immediately go over there and lay down in the shade. and she's going to relax. Well, what she'll do first is she'll get in the pool, and then she'll go lay down in the shade. As soon as Claire, who has a hold of Annie right now, as soon as she lets her go, Annie's going to go find a stick, and she's going to come follow me around that stick. Millie, come. Millie, come. Now, Charlotte might have dropped a treat there, and so from Millie's perspective, like, look, I like Stonnie, I'm gonna run to him and get a treat, but if I can get a treat without having to move my feet, then obviously that's the better choice. Come on, nerd. Very nice. Okay, so we'll do it one more time, Charlotte. Okay, so we got some really good recalls out of Millie. Now we're going to introduce the retrieving item. Okay, Charlotte, come on up here. How about this? You just stay down there, okay? And we'll do it facing the camera this time because I think that's going to be more. I think that's going to be more useful for the people at home. Okay, so get her attention, call her to you, and then show her that you have a retrieving item, and then throw it right towards your mom. Show them what she's doing. She's like, hey, Stonnie, you got a treat? You got a treat? Okay, so let's try that again. All right, make sure she sees it, you know, because, like, again, the difference between Annie and this dog is Annie, let me wipe out her eyes. Annie is looking for that retrieving item all the time. Wait, let me get up here a little ways. I'm trying to take myself out of the equation so we can just see the dog's desire to retrieve. Okay, throw it towards your mom. Okay, so that's one. That's two. And she laid down on two. Now she's happy. Now she's starting to spit it out. That's three. Now she might decide to lay down and play with it on her own. Because she's like, you know, Charlotte, that's starting to be a little bit of extra work, and I'm not sure that I want to do that much work. Now right here, if you have these English Labs, you know what Charlotte's going through. And so Charlotte's like, hey, Millie, fetch, fetch, fetch. And you try to encourage them, you know, to fetch. And sometimes you'll get frustrated with them. But guys, don't get frustrated with them. I mean, that's just what you bought, okay? Go down there and do it one more time towards your mom. Walk all the way down there towards that middle there. There you go, right there. Now see, Millie still wants to play. She still wants to get some treats. She still wants to interact with Charlotte. But like, the way she wants to interact is more kind of just in a general lackadaisical way. She just wants to hang out and play, and she was like, hey, that's cool, you threw that for me a couple of times, I'll go get it. And these English Labrador Retrievers, when people say they don't fetch, they don't mean that they won't fetch at all. What they mean is that they won't go out and work really hard in relation to doing retrieving exercises. I mean, in the house, a dog like Millie, she'll fetch a little, you know, like a little plushie or something, and she'll do it like, you know, if we're in an office, I'll throw a little plushie for her, and she'll go get it 10 times over the course of the day. And each time I do it, if I do it one time, she'll bring it back to me. And sometimes she'll even get it and she'll bring it back to me and like try to get me to throw it. But when it comes time to come out here in the heat and actually play, throw it for her one more time, Charlotte. Then like at best, I'm gonna get like 2 or 3. Walk on down there and show. Like get down here and look at the retrieving item. Okay, I'll try to get her attention on it. Let's just see if we can get her, like, come here, Millie. And what Millie's doing is, I don't know if some treats have come out of Charlotte's treat bag or what, but like, you know, something on the ground. And these conformation bred or English Labrador Retrievers, they're big foragers. Millie, come here. So look, I'm gonna show her. I'm gonna even try to get her excited. Hey, hey, look, 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 look. There you go, okay? And it's an awesome dog. She came out, she came to us a bunch of times. She did really good. She loves playing with Charlotte. She's super excited, super exuberant, okay? And when Charlotte threw, we got three good fetches out of her. Got 3 good fetches out of her. And when I say good fetches, I mean, I think Charlotte threw it probably like 20 feet, right? Okay, now for the people that own field-bred Labrador Retrievers, that doesn't quite meet the threshold for being a retriever. But you would be surprised at how many people I know who own these English chubbies, right? And they'll tell me, Stonnie, the dog loves to fetch. Well, what they mean is that they play fetch about like what Charlotte played. You know, they do it 2 or 3 times, you know, 10, 20 feet away, maybe in the house, maybe in their front yard, and they're thrilled with it. Remember, guys, in dog training, being happy with a dog comes from met expectations. Right? So as long as you choose a dog that's likely to meet your expectations of their, you know, general traits and tendencies, then you can be happy. If the way Annie played fetch with Charlotte, if that's what kind of kids you have, get you a field-bred dog, right? If you have kids that are like going to come in and love on the dog and maybe throw something 2 or 3 times and then go do what they want to do, which one's better?
English.
Yeah, English, right? Okay. And so if you're really busy, which one's better?
English.
Yeah, of course. And if you want to have dog training as a hobby, which one's better?
Field.
Field. There you go. Okay, so now we're going to go on a little hike. We'll take them with us, and then we'll get in the car and we'll go canoeing, and we'll let them swim in the pond. But the dogs got to run around, and their tongues were hanging out quite a bit, so thought I'd throw them in the pool and cool them down, because we're going to go for a hike, and I wanted them to be nice and cool so that you guys would kind of get a good idea of what it's like to hike with each type of Labrador Retriever. Okay, so they've been in there long enough now where I think they're kind of cooled down. Charlotte, let's go out back. Come on, dogs. All right, now notice how Annie, she jumps right out of there, didn't have any problem. And Millie, she's a little smarter. She went over there and came down the steps. All right, come on, dogs. Very nice. Following the leader, the leader, the leader. We're following the leader wherever he may go. They're very good dogs. Oh my gosh. All right, whenever you're gonna go on a hike, guys, remember, like, your dog is going to feed off of your emotions, right? So people ask me a lot about how, you know, I go hiking with these dogs and they're not on leashes. Well, I do it because they think I'm a cool guy. They think Charlotte's a cool girl, and like, we're going to go do fun stuff, and who doesn't want to tag along with the guy and the girl that does fun stuff, right? And so we always try to give them positive energy. We can skip. We can run. Come on, dogs. Come on. Come on. Oh my gosh, very good dogs. We can give them some treats. We can bring some retrieving items. I mean, basically, we make hiking fun, and if we make hiking fun, what do the dogs want to do with us?
They want to have fun with us and hike.
They want to hike, that's right. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to kind of walk around, and we'll just take a short hike, and then we'll head over to the farm and get in the pond for a little while. And what I kind of want to watch, what I kind of want you to watch is, you know, how often you see Millie versus how often you see Annie. And I don't know that this is going to hold true 100%, but probably what you're going to see is Annie, well, peeing, of course, because that's what they do on the camera. But what you're probably going to see is like Annie coming in and out of the frame a little bit more than Millie, because for every mile that we walk, Millie off the leash might walk 1.5 miles, but Annie's going to walk 3 miles. Okay, and I'd say that holds true across the spectrum for these 2 different types of dogs. Now, the advantage of the field dog when you go hiking is they can hike longer, and they're you know, pretty upbeat, pretty energetic, you know. The disadvantage is that they can hike longer, so it takes a longer hike to make them tired. Also, I don't really have to worry about Millie like jumping off the creek bank too much. And with Annie, listen, she'd jump off the creek bank, off the rock quarry, out of the boat. She's just always doing something. But again, not a tremendous amount of difference. Maybe think about it like this. You might have a friend that's like a, maybe a varsity level athlete at a big high school or a college level athlete. That doesn't mean you guys can't go out to dinner together, you can't go roller skating together, you can't go to the lake together, right? It's just that, their overall activity level is higher than yours. Well, it's the same way with dogs. A lot of around here, these dogs kind of pal up, they're buddies, and a lot of times you'll see a super athletic dog pal up with a not super athletic dog, just like you do in real life, and so what just happens is they'll both go out back, they'll both go to the farm, they'll both go do fun stuff. It's just that the more athletic one does more stuff, It doesn't create any conflict, It just kind of, they just learn to self-regulate and appreciate each other's personalities and complementary traits and characteristics. Following the leader, Very nice. Good dogs. Now, if I wanted to keep these dogs a little closer, what I would do is whenever they checked in, I would like click and treat, but we're trying to kind of let them just get out and explore on their own, and not pay too much attention to me. If you're walking around with a field-bred dog, what you do every so often when they come back to you is take your retrieving item and reward them for their, more exceptional efforts towards coming back to you. That'll really get them fired up. Oh my gosh, Millie found her a stick. So I like that. Oh my gosh. So I'll throw that over there in the weeds. Just let them go look for it. And there's so many sticks over there, they might find the right one or not. But you see Annie kind of hung around back there looking for the stick. Millie was just like, well, it's gone. Come on. I'll pick up another one on the way. I kind of wish it would go ahead and rain. Hiking in the rain is always a little better with these black dogs in the summertime because the black dogs just soak up heat. Yeah, it's also fun. Very nice. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, let's go down this way and around this tree. Oh, you know what we could do, Charlotte? Hey, come here, Annie. Come here. Okay, so look, here, you sit and you sit. All right, now I'm gonna hold them and you run and hide behind that tree. And you call them. Wait a minute, let me get them. Ready? Okay, go. This is a fun little game you can play with your dogs, a little bit of hide and seek. Okay. Oh, very nice. Who found you first? Very nice. Who found you first? Oh, Annie did? Okay. And look, but they're both happy. They're both really stoked to find Charlotte and play with her. Now, if you'll notice, like you see Millie, how she'll look up at Charlotte a lot and wag her tail. Well, she's trying to convince Charlotte to give her a treat. Very nice. You want to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, cameraman, step back here. And you can sit, and you can sit. Now these dogs theoretically should just sit there and Charlotte run off and hide and they come find her. But listen, I'm not that good a dog trainer yet. We're working on it a little bit at a time. Okay, go ahead. So I'm gonna let Charlotte run down there and hide. Guys, this is a great, just a super fantastic exercise for getting children involved with your dog training and making sure, okay. And making sure that when your child calls your dogs, they have like a, an upbeat reason to go find the child, Very nice. Look, they don't know where she went. There she. And see, it kind of, if you got two dogs, like if you have a friend that has a dog, then go out and alternate hiding. And like the dogs will start to compete with each other and they'll really put a lot of effort into finding you. It's just fun, something fun to do. You take your same old normal hike that you take. A lot of people don't have access to a bunch of hiking places, but you can make those hiking places as interesting as you want. It just takes a little bit of energy and forethought. Very nice.
Thanks.
Very nice work. Okay, all right. Now, so remember a second ago, I said Like, you know, the dogs, theoretically, I should just be able to say stay and Charlotte go hide, and then I say okay, and the dogs go find her. And that's going to happen. It's just going to take a little while. And it's going to probably take just a little longer with the field bred dog than it is with the conformation bred dog. So that becomes a matter of practice. So for example, on your walk, hey, come here, Millie. Come here, Millie. Millie, 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 Millie. So on your walk, periodically, sit. Tell them to sit and stay, or lay down and stay, whichever. Now let's go over here and pretend that we're having a picnic. Okay, and so, see what happened right there? This is what happens every time, right? Okay, and that gives me an opportunity to practice, okay, without actually having my picnic interrupted. So I'm able to tell them, get back over here, nerds. Come on, come on. Now you sit there, and I'm gonna have to be a little bit more firm here. Hey, listen, come on, get over here. I have to be a little bit more firm. Hey, sit. You stay there. Now this, remember, I made a video yesterday about like, hey, do it because I said so. So I'm going to be a little more, stay. It'll be a little bit tougher, right? Okay, Charlotte, sit down there. And so on our hikes, we want to, you know, we want to make sure that we spend lots of time like doing the active fun stuff, okay? But you have to pause your hikes a little bit and do the stuff that's not so fun, the kind of the boring stuff. And what that does is allows the dogs to learn to control their impulses. You can't have a dog that thinks that hiking is just a free-for-all, can you? No, because what happens, see, is you have to drive your car to the hiking spot, and then you have to get out of your car. And you know, so there's other dogs, there's people, there's you know, cars in the parking lot, all that stuff. And so dogs have to understand that their fun is going to be interspersed with periods of just kind of boredom, right? It's kind of like being a person, right? Like we're gonna, like you and your mom are taking George out to Fargo for the wrestling tournament.
And we have to enjoy 14 hours in
14,
the car.
maybe 15 hours in the car, right? But you're gonna get to do fun stuff, right? Okay, well that's the same thing with the dogs. You just gotta make them understand that there's some boring stuff in the world, and like while that boring stuff is happening, they just gotta kind of cope with it, you know? I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the video, but Millie's kind of over there scratching and carrying on. That's not because she itches too much. Dogs just have displacement behavior. So when you're telling your dog to stay while you're, you know, practicing your picnicking or practicing whatever, then sometimes they're going to yawn a little bit. Sometimes they're going to roll. No. Sometimes they're going to roll around in the grass. Sometimes they're going to scratch. And a lot of times right after they scratch, they're going to be like, oh, I kind of forgot what I was supposed to do. And they're going to go to wander off. And that's, guys, where you have to bring in that concept of, well, do it because I told you so. And you'll see as Millie went to get up there, you know, I had to fuss at her a little bit. But it's better to fuss at her in a practice situation than it is a real life situation, you know, in the parking lot, or maybe a deer runs by or something. Now, when I get up, okay. Now, here's the thing about that, because I know some of you, you're like, well, Stonnie, I'm going hiking, and I want the dog to have fun. I don't necessarily, you know, I kind of feel bad if I make them stay. Look, guys, if you make them stay, what's going to happen is making them stay and making them bored makes them really appreciate it when you let them go and go back to hiking. So you have all these built-in reinforcement points on your hike that can be magnified with the use of a stay. So I'm like, stay there. You got to be bored. You're like, I can't be bored. I can't be bored. Oh. Now I get to go play. A very similar place this happens, guys, is in a swimming pool. You know how, like, in a pool, like, the lifeguard blows the whistle every so often, and the kids have to get out of the pool, and then when they blow the whistle to get back in the pool, all the kids are crazy, right? That's the same thing you can do on your hike. It's just called drive controlling exercises. Hey, dogs. Okay, so we'll go over here. Now, if you are a fan of my channel, you know, this is where we do our campfire safety training. We get the dogs, we put them up on this little platform, and we build fires and stuff. And on average, like, here's what you see is that the English chubbies, they're pretty easy to get to stay over here while we're building a campfire, right? And the field dogs, they're in and out of the frame constantly. The one problem we have consistently with the conformation bred dogs is, like, you know, when they're young, they go through this stage where they really pick stuff up a lot and they're super oral. And a lot of times the owners of dogs like that haven't maybe been around lots of dogs. And so, like, if you go to get stuff out of their mouth, you know what they do?
They tug?
Well, sometimes they'll tug, but most of the time what they'll do is they'll swallow it. So we always talk about how these, you know, like, okay, look, right here, it's happening right here. You see? Now that dog's in these English Labs are oral dogs, right? And you have to kind of let them explore. And if you run over there and you try to get every little thing out of their mouth, what they end up doing, we call it the crack dealer effect. What they end up doing is they notice when they're caught and they'll swallow it. Okay, so what I'll do, a lot of times I see them with something, I'll be like, hey, what's that? Oh my gosh, very nice, thanks for finding that. And if I need to take it away, I will, but I always make it kind of to the dog's benefit. Now in this case, I didn't really need to take it away, so I'll throw it back down. But that's something to keep in mind. With the field dogs, you really almost never have to worry about them ingesting things. You know, I don't think we've ever had a field dog that came out here that was a rock eater or a consistent stick eater. But these English Labs, you know, the combination of them being super food driven and super oral and living in an environment where they're not allowed to satiate that socialization need, it can make it a little dangerous. Like if we get dogs out here in the 4 to 6 month range that haven't been socialized outdoor environments, sometimes we have a real problem with that. So the moral of the story, guys, is like, don't try to micromanage every single little thing that your English Lab puts in its mouth. Very nice. Come on, dogs. Just very good dogs. Very good. Very nice. Come on, nerd. Very good dogs. One of the things that you'll see that I think is kind of funny is, it's not going to be in this video, but if you go back to some of my old videos, like the field dogs not so much, but a lot of the English Labs, once these blackberries start getting ripe, they come out here and it's like a treat fest, and they just eat them and eat them and eat them. Their whole face will be like purpley, their tongue will be purpley, right? But what else happens is they get those little thorns in their gums. So if you go out with a young English Lab and there's a lot of blackberries in season, make sure that when you get home, and it's not even blackberry season, right? But just make sure when you get home, when you take these young English Labs out, that you check their gum line, okay? Because sometimes they'll get a little stick in there, a little splinter or a little thorn or something. And if you don't check on it, you won't notice until it's become a problem. Come on, dogs. Following the leader, the leader, the leader. Very good, dogs. Okay, very good. Now again, if you watch this video, you're going to consistently see like the two dogs moving in the same general movement patterns, but Annie stretching each of those movement patterns out a little more. A little faster pace, nose to the ground a little bit more, maybe a little bit more oral as it relates to the sticks and stuff. But Millie will keep up pretty good. Let me see. Okay, we'll go up this hill and then we'll circle around and we'll go back to the, you want to go to the brush pile? Okay, we'll go do the brush pile challenge. Now, look here. See, kind of staying on the edge of the trail where Annie's all the way down in the creek. Remember I was telling you earlier about having a confident, outgoing dog. It's awesome, except that sometimes they just dive off the creek bank, you know. You're a very good dog, Millie. Okay, cameraman, here I think you'll have to circle in front because of the way the sun is. Annie's off in the creek. Now, should we call Annie to show him how fast she comes back, or should we just let her catch us? We'll just let her catch us. Oh, well, and there she is. And you see she kind of came barreling into the frame. Can you see Millie there? Okay, well, Millie's right there by the cameraman. Millie. So that's about how far Millie's gotten away. And she's going up there to see what the cameraman's doing. Now, if I want to get Millie's attention back, here's the easy thing with these conformation bred dogs. Millie, come on. Millie, Millie, Millie. So I haven't been giving her any treats. And so she's kind of, you know, started to wander around, go up there with the cameraman. The cameraman probably has some good treats in her pocket. So I'm gonna pay Millie a few times for checking in. Millie, and see if we can't get her to hang a little closer. Very nice. And look, Andy's the one staying closer. That's the dog video business for you. Okay, let's go over to the brush pile. Yeah, so you take off that way there, cameraman. All right, so here's our world famous brush pile challenge. So we'll hop up on here for a second. You want to go first? We'll just kind of hop up here, see what happens. Very nice. Okay, and look, right off the bat, Annie is up on the brush pile. And Millie will probably come up here too, though, because she's been pretty good with that so far. Go on up there to the top of the brush pile, Charlotte. Now, this is not a 100% fair comparison because, of course, you know, Annie's been on the brush pile more often. But it just still kind of holds true, right? When you watch Millie, she's a little bit more hesitant, and she's been back here plenty of times to not be worried about it. Not a tremendous amount of difference, though. You're a very good dog. You're a very good dog. Okay, you can go back down. Can you get it? Hey, you think you can go ahead and get out of the way, nerd? And he's like, watch out, princess. Very nice. Okay. All right, so let's go down this way, Charlotte. And again, you see, notice, Millie's kind of staying on the edge of the trail, and Annie is off in the brush more. And even if she gets excited and starts thinking about chasing Annie, I hope you'll be able to see this, right? Okay. Because the differences are noticeable, but I mean, they're fairly subtle. But you'll notice even when she goes to go into the brush, she doesn't go as far. She doesn't bound into the brush. Kind of likes to stay on the mowed path. And that's something, believe it or not, that really, you know, it really pops up a lot when you're hiking, because when you're hiking, especially in a state or national forest, the trails are very well defined. And look, so here comes Annie, and she has outrun Millie. Okay, cameraman, we're going to go down that way, and here comes Millie bringing up the rear. Hello, very nice. I wish there was a way for me to like have more cameras so I could kind of, you know, show you guys all of this at one time, but you just kind of had to piece it together. Now again, look, I'm on the path. Now watch Millie. Annie's off the path. She's running around, and look at Millie. See how that's almost, back up the hill a little bit there, cameraman. Well, yeah, okay, so I don't know if you'll be able to see that. But basically what's happening is Millie sees this boundary as an actual boundary, as something to worry about, as something to think about, right? Not Annie. Annie could care less. And there's an old barbed wire fence right there too. And Annie has run into that barbed wire fence, I don't know, 100 times since she was a puppy. And it's made absolutely no impression on her. Very good dogs. You're a very good dog. You're a very good dog, Millie. You're a fine animal. Now, as these fatigue meters start to come out, that's what we call their tongues. You see them start to want to like relax a little bit and get in the shade. Come on, so the cameraman can see you. Very nice. Now, one of the things you'll notice as you're hiking with dogs and the sun comes out is your dogs will consistently start to zigzag or run ahead looking for shade or looking for spots to potty. If I could ever just make one whole video where dogs don't potty in my video, I would be so happy. Okay. All right. I think we should probably go that way, which means cameraman, you should slide around. It's hard with the camera, guys, because you can't, when you're outside, you know, like whenever you're watching talking heads talk about dog training, you know, they're always talking to each other or they're using stock footage. When you're outside, you have to be very careful. A lot of times you can't show what you want to show because of where the sun is. And so we always have to try to have the cameraman walking with their back to the sun, all right? And so you got to really, in the comment section, give the cameraman her props, because all these videos where you see Charlotte and I walking forward, what's your mom doing?
She's walking backwards.
Walking backwards, that's tough. So let's stop right here, call the dogs back. And again, kind of the whole video, same thing. Annie's in the lead and Millie is bringing up the rear. Not that Millie's not awesome, you know, but like she just always a little behind, always a little reserved, always a little quicker to lay in the shade, a little quicker to give up fetching. Look at Annie over there, in and out of the brush. And remember what I was telling you, don't even try, Cameron, you're not gonna be able to get them. But like, remember what I was telling you, when we go out for a walk, Millie, come. Millie, come on. When we go out for a walk, our goal is to say, if we're hiking a mile, we want the dogs to hike some multiple of miles. Well, with these field-bred dogs, you can guarantee that if they're off the leash, they're gonna do 3 or 4 to your 1. With these conformation-bred dogs, they're gonna maybe do 1.5. Now, it works out the same because like it only takes 1.5 to get the conformation-bred dog to be able to go lay down and be chill, where it takes 3 or 4 to get the field-bred dog to run around to go lay down and be chill. So, off-leash, hiking, what would you say? What's really like the difference between hiking with these two dogs? If I told you, I said, hey, listen, Charlotte, take one of those dogs out back and exercise it. Would it be tougher to take one than the other, really?
Yes.
Which one would be tougher?
I think Annie.
You think Annie, because you got to keep up with her more, right? Mine is keeping up with her though, right? It's pretty simple because you're going to walk the same paths. It's just that Annie's going to do a lot more zigzagging, right? Okay, and a lot more like running. But like you can walk the same paths and get your 1 mile in or 2 miles, and the dogs are going to get their 2.5 or 3 if they're conformation bred, and they're going to get their 5 or 6 if they're field. So, guys, like when you're watching this video, as long as you have a place to like let your dogs off the leash, let them run, let them hang out, let them play with other dogs. The total time investment for managing them as far as their exercise goes should be about the same, because the dogs are going to choose, you know, the dogs are going to choose like the pace at which they exercise, okay? And so that's why you can have complementary dogs. And I often recommend that in my videos, is like if you have a really athletic dog, get kind of a chill dog. Because when you take them out hiking, like the chill one is just going to stay on the trail with you and be good. Now the more athletic one is going to do more stuff, but by the time you get back to the car, they're both going to have done enough. Now if you live in a state or a country where there's like really strict rules on letting your dog off the leash, then listen, this is daylight and dark. If you have to walk your dog on a leash all the time, can you imagine having to walk Annie on a leash all the time?
No.
It'd be impossible. Do not get a field-bred dog of any type if you have to walk them on a leash all the time. All right, so that was a good little hike for us. Now we'll go over to the farm and we'll get the canoe out or the paddleboard or something, and we'll show them what that's like. All right, let's go. Okay, so we got done hiking. Now we're going to head over to the farm and we're going to do a little bit of canoeing. But to get to the farm, both of these dogs have to be able to get in the van. So let's take a look. Now the reason I'm adding this part to the video is because you would not believe how many times over the years somebody with an English chubby has told me that their dog won't get in their minivan, right? Okay, so we're gonna see if Millie can get in my van, which probably, maybe not, but probably sits just a little bit higher up off the ground than your van. Let's see if she can do it. All right, so I'm gonna open these doors. And there goes Annie. Of course, like see how this is it's kind of always the same thing. Annie's first in everything they do. That doesn't mean Millie can't do it, but I want you to notice, like Millie paused a minute and she looked at me, and you can't see, you can't see because you couldn't see her face, but no kidding, she looked at me like, well, Stonnie, aren't you gonna pick me up and put me in this van? And so of course I'm like, no, I'm not gonna pick you up and put you in. You want the van, get in the van, right? And so look, you guys out there, all of you with your English Labrador Retrievers, stop picking them up and putting them in the car. If they can get in my van, they can get in your car or truck or van or whatever. All right, so let's get to the farm and have some fun. Okay, now we're over at the pond and we're gonna do a little bit of paddle boarding. Okay, dogs, come on. So I have 2 dogs, and what I would like to have happen here is for the dogs to get on the paddleboard and stay willingly. I have a feeling that they're not going to, so I'm going to put leashes on them, and they're going to get my paddleboard all muddy. Okay, so we'll see if we can get them to stay on the paddleboard. Charlotte can be in charge of that, and we'll paddleboard around a little bit, and then we'll let them off the paddleboard so they can kind of run and play, and we'll see if there's any similarities or differences between these 2 types of dogs. Hey! Come here, nerd. Okay, all right. So let's see how we can get this done, Charlotte. Get them up there.
Come on, Annie. Come on, Millie.
All right.
Oh, my puppy.
Now, let me try to get past you here, which is going to be,
A tough job.
oh, it's going to be tough because they're weighing this down and the pond's low, so it's all this sticky, stinky mud.
Oh.
Ah.
Easy there, puppies.
All right. Now, if you want to try to go on back out that way a little bit, cameraman. Oh, Charlotte, see that blue heron over there? Yeah. He's out here fishing, and we're interrupting his day just because we want to train dogs. He just goes over there and hangs out, and he's really still. And then when a fish comes by that he can see, he reaches down there and snatches him up with his bill. What are you growling at? Right. Oh, yep, there's something over there that she sees that's different. Now that's something you'll see out of these field bred dogs too, a little bit. Like the conformation bred dogs, you don't ever hear them growl or get excited or, you know, maybe like have trouble with other dogs. Some of these more excitable field lines can be a little bit aggressive with other dogs. They can be a little bit of a, you know, kind of a guard dog around your campsite or, you know, around your hunting area. And I don't know if you can hear it or not, but something's got Annie tore up. And when I say they can be a little bit of a, I said fish. Oh my gosh, be quiet, dog. And when I say they can be a little bit of a guard dog, I don't mean that they could like be trusted to save your family from true evildoers, but they can be kind of loud with their barking and carrying on. Okay. That's enough. We don't need to be guarded. You do not have any Chesapeake Bay Retriever in you. After a while, the dogs get so used to being in the canoe or on the boat or on the paddle board that you really don't have too much trouble. And, you know, the reality is also that you don't have too much trouble losing them off of the kayak or the paddle board once they've been out a lot of times because, you know, it's like you, after you've seen something lots and lots of times, it's not quite as exciting. But right now, like, you know, if you hear some birds or hear an old bullfrog or something, like, and you've never heard it before, it's a really interesting sound. And of course, a young dog wants to go investigate, which is why we have leashes on them. But after just a few trips, then they'll start to understand that they don't have to get off they don't have to try to get off the paddleboard. All they have to do is ride and just relax and be calm, attentive, and polite. And the faster that they settle down and act like they've got some sense, well, the faster they get to run and play and investigate and do what they want to do. And that's what we're always talking about when we use the term access via indirect action. What these dogs want to do right now is get off of here and swim and play and go chase birds, okay? And that's exactly what's going to happen. It just has to happen after they've shown a lot of self-control. All right, so we'll pull up here a little ways, and then we'll let them get out and swim so you can kind of see the difference. But again, you know, the point that I want to make is you can manage both of these dogs just fine as long as you have access to go outside and play and you have the type of disposition where you like to do interesting things. Both of these dogs can be fun to hang out with. The only thing that you've seen that's really different so far today is one of them is more energetic and is really a good fetcher, okay? But other than that, they're really very similar. Okay, so let's go over here, Charlotte, and we'll let them swim some. All right, now these dogs have been really good on the paddleboard. They've got off a couple of times and done a little swimming. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to let them off just to play. Maybe I'll throw the retrieving item out in the pond for them so you can see the kind of the difference. Okay. Okay, dogs. Okay, Millie, come on. You can do it. Very nice. Whoa. Charlotte, are you wet enough right now?
Yeah.
Oh, you smell good. Oh, now here, hold my thing here. Now this is the only thing about this paddleboard here. Oh, is to go in a straight line, it has to have these fins on it. But the fins make it basically impossible to run it up on the bank. So you kind of got to carry it up here a little bit and take the fins off. And then I can drag it to the truck. Okay, so let's just walk down the bank here, just in the shallow water a little bit. Oh my gosh, this is some ooey gooey mud. You go over there, you're gonna lose a boot in that mud. Just put this over there. Okay. Take a look at what happens if we throw a retrieving item out in the water. Hey Millie, I'm gonna give them both the equal opportunity to look and see what I have. Look what I have. You see what I have? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Look at what Millie's doing. And again, very similar to when she's on the path. You see she always kind of wants to do what Annie wants to do? It just takes her a minute. She's just a little bit hesitant. Come on, come on. Okay. Now this really isn't too fair to Annie to let Millie aggravate her. So Charlotte, grab me a leash. And I'll put, come on, oh, let me see. Oh. I'll put Millie on the leash real quick. Or I'll put Annie on the leash real quick. Let me see that leash there. See that leash, cameraman? Okay. Ah. No. All right. So, come here, Charlotte. You come here and hold Annie. Now, you know, theoretically, like I said, Annie should just sit there and be perfect while Millie fetches, but like, I'm not that good a dog trainer. So I'm gonna show Millie. Hey, Millie, look, Millie. So she's eating mud. Hey, quit eating mud. Look what I got. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now look, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Can you see her there, cameraman? Very nice. Good girl, Millie. You're a very good dog. You're a very, very smart dog. Now you guys should be very proud of Millie because she's got to come up through some pretty ooey gooey mud to get over here to where I am. Oh, you're a very good dog. You're a very good dog. All right, that's one good retrieve. Was that one? Okay, that's one. So let's. All right. Dang, I'm pretty impressed. Are you impressed, Charlotte?
Yeah.
Good girl, Millie. You're a very good dog. Oh my gosh, you're a very good dog. You're a very good dog. That's 2. All right, you ready? Good girl. Oh my gosh, you're such a smart dog. You're a fine animal. You're a fine animal. You're a very good dog. Now, Charlotte, keep track of these for me, because I get confused. All right, so was that 3? Ah, don't shake on me, nerd. We got to work on that. Ready? And look at that good dog. Millie is showing up and showing out for the chubbies. Oh my gosh, you did 4. Very good. All right, ready? Can we do 5? Hey, I think Millie is like really taking this contest serious. You're a very good dog, Millie. Annie's over there just chomping at the bit. She doesn't want to be showing up. She's got to represent her set. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you're a very good dog. You're a very good dog. Okay, what are we on? 6? 6? Ready? And go. Can you see, cameraman? Uh-oh, she grabbed it by the string that time. She still got it. Now listen guys, if you're actually working on retrieving, keep your reps low. 3 to 5 is good. We always want to leave the retrievers wanting more. But since we're doing a English Lab versus Fieldbred Lab contest right now, we're going to actually just see how many times she'll fetch. Ready? And at 7, and we got just the teeniest little bit of hesitation on the way out, but not much. Come on, you can do it. And look, she says, that's enough, Stonnie. All right, so she went over there by Charlotte, dropped her retrieving item, and I'm not gonna try to make her do it anymore. We'll call that, what'd we end up with, 7?
Yep.
Okay, let's change leashes. Because the way these contests kind of end up working is, once, one dog will kind of give up, but then once she sees the other dog doing it, they'll want to get back in. So we're going to do the same thing, same rules. I'm going to throw the dummy until the dog doesn't willingly bring it back right to me, right? Okay, so there's 1. Come on, you can do it, nerd. I'm trying not to give Annie any extra attention. I don't want to seem biased. Okay, so that's 1. That's 2. Am I throwing it in the same place there? I want to try to be aware of my own inner biases here. That's 2. Oh my gosh, what a good dog. Oh my gosh, you're a very good dog. Oh. Now, remember I told you what would happen? When one of the dogs, they kind of give up, but then they want to get back in the game. Okay, did that hurt your hand?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so tighten her leash up a little bit there. Tell her sit and stay. Come on, Annie. Annie, come. Annie, come on. No, hand that to me. What are you doing? So what's that? Is this 4? Okay. What did we get to with Millie? 7? Okay. Come on, Andy, you can do it. You're a very good dog. Come on, come on. Very nice. And this is 5. You're a good dog. You're a very good dog. And 6. Oh my gosh, what a good dog you are. Very nice. And this is it the tie? Okay. This is the tie. Oh, very good. Okay, now Annie's going for the win. So that's 8. Oh my gosh, very good. You're a very good dog. 9. Oh, very good dog. 10. Come on. Okay. 11. 12. 'Where's my dog? 13. 'All right, this will be what, cameraman? Double? 14. Oh my gosh, you're a good, very good dog. Okay, and we'll stop at 14 because Annie, she'll do that till she gets too tired, you know, and we don't want her to get too tired. All right, now we're going to tie up this comparison video, and I have recruited my man Woods, good-looking young man from Lexington. And basically, you know, I know that when Charlotte and I are walking dogs, that it doesn't always give you a really clear representation of what it's going to be like when you, as a normal pet owner, is walking a dog, right? Because we walk lots of dogs. Woods, how many dogs do you walk on a daily basis?
Not many.
Not many, as in none. Now, his mom has a bunch of dogs, but she doesn't make Woods do much walking, all right? So, Woods is just a regular, run-of-the-mill, good-looking high school kid, right? Doesn't know anything about dogs. And we're going to ask him for his honest opinion of what it's like to walk this field-bred Labrador Retriever, as well as his own English Labrador Retriever, or show-bred, conformation-bred, whatever you want to call it, right? Then we're going to go out in the field, and we're going to call the dogs to us, in between us, and then we're going to play fetch. And then Woods is going to give us a 100% completely non-dog-centric. Would you consider yourself a dog-centric person? What do you like to do in your spare time? Do you like to hang out and train dogs in your spare time?
I don't train dogs now.
He doesn't train dogs. You see what I'm saying? What do you do in your spare time? Put you on the spot.
Play some golf.
He likes to play some golf. Okay, all right. So he's a golfer, right? He's not a dog trainer. And so we're going to see which of these two dogs would fit more in the golfer lifestyle. Okay. Now, Woods, are you having any trouble walking your dog up to this point?
I think you've been
She's doing pretty well. Not too bad. It's a hot day. She's a black dog, and they get hot, but she's still putting in work. All right, get on up here with me. Very nice. Okay, guys, so what you're seeing is that even a novice dog handler like Woods, he basically is doing all the things with his showbred Labrador Retriever that I'm doing with my fieldbred Labrador Retriever. Now we're going to come right up here, Woods, and we're just going to switch. Okay, so you take this dog. Do you think you know the course good enough to walk it and me follow, or you may? I'll keep walking in front. Okay, all right. So now we're just going to switch dogs. Come on, nerd. Okay, now you might see Annie get a little fidgety with Woods because those fieldbred dogs, they're, you know, a little bit more excitable, you know. She might not want to stay right with Woods unless there's something in it for her. I've got a really good credit rating with these dogs. I pay them a lot, I take them on big adventures, and I give them lots of treats. You think you can do those things? You want to take some dogs on some adventures, or you want to go play golf?
I'll play golf.
He wants to play golf. Okay, so his dog, we can't have needing to go on adventures as being a primary driver for him having a particular type of dog. Very nice. Hop up. Wait. Good. Easy. Up. Very nice. Very good. Easy. There you go. Up, up. Good. Wait. Easy. What do you think, cameraman? Woods is doing pretty good. We might recruit Woods into the dog training world instead of the golfing world. Woods, you get on this YouTube video, you see how many ladies there are that like dogs. You start getting some fan mail. You think that might sway you away from golf a little bit? You know, so you ladies out there, you know, if you want to help me recruit Woods, come down here and work for me. Let's get in the comments below and post your numbers. You shoot him some pics. Easy. Very nice. Come on, you can do it. Very nice. All right. So up to this point, Woods, what would you say the main difference, if there is any difference, between walking these two dogs has been?
I think that it's been pretty similar, but I'd say that with Annie, is that her?
With Annie?
I just feel like she's been a little bit more, well, not up to this point, right there, but I don't know. I haven't had as much trouble with her.
So if you just were to pick the two dogs on easy to walk, which one seems easier to walk?
A little bit easier.
You think Annie. Now see, I wouldn't think that. Watching Woods with Annie, I thought maybe he was struggling a little bit more with Annie than he was with Millie. You know, and that's the thing about dog training. You know, dog training is a lot about perspective. Okay, have your dog sit there and stay. Sit, stay. And like, you know, just because I see something as a professional dog trainer, just leave her there, go stay. Just because I see something as a professional dog trainer doesn't mean that you're going to see things the same way. You know, I oftentimes see people interacting with dogs and I think, man, that's a lot of trouble. But they don't think it's a lot of trouble. You know, so like up to this point, you feel like you could manage either of these dogs basically the same way?
Yes, they're very similar.
Very similar. Okay, all right. Well, now let's go out in the yard and do some recalls and some fetching. Very nice dogs. All right, so Woods and I are going to do recall exercises and retrieving exercises. So Woods, you're going to walk down there, kind of about the flat part of the yard. Well, actually, just stop right there. I'm going to show you how to do it first. Okay, so I'm going to call Annie. Annie, come. Oh my gosh. And we'll give her a little attention and give her a treat, right? Okay, now you call her.
Annie, go.
Very nice. Annie, come. Now, what do you think about the way she's coming?
A lot of energy.
A lot of energy? Okay, yeah, call her again.
Annie, come on. Annie, come on.
Very nice. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to take off running to the flat spot in that yard and call her and then play with her when she catches you. Go.
Annie, come on.
All right, so there's Annie running. Now, Annie doesn't know Woods. She's never met Woods before. Kind of go over that way just a little bit, Woods. Run a big circle. Pet on her. This is literally the first time she's ever met Woods, but she loves him already. And that's a great thing about all these different Labrador Retrievers. They have a lot of love to give. Annie, come. I don't have any trouble calling her away from a new person. She does like the treats. Now just pet on her and love on her this time, Woods. She likes to be petted on and loved on. Oh my gosh, Annie's a good dog. I can pet on her and love on her. Oh my gosh, she likes that. Okay, now Woods, what's your overall impression of Annie's attitude and her speed and her desire to come to you?
She's excited. She wants to play.
Excited, wants to play, comes fast, and that's all we need. Okay, now, so have you ever played fetch with this dog? Because I want you people out here to understand I'm not in any way fudging this. Have you ever played fetch with this dog?
This I know.
Okay, all right. I'm not even going to give you any instructions other than let me get situated up there, and then you're going to kind of toss this up in the air and then towards the cameraman. Let me get back up here. Okay. Back up a little bit, cameraman, because you almost know Woods is going to overthrow it. Okay, now just throw it right up here towards me, Woods. There you go. That's one. Okay. That's two. That's three. That's four. Now, some of these field trial dogs, they love to play so much. You see, she's just kind of getting she's just getting completely overwhelmed with the idea of playing. She's not trying to be disobedient. You know, she's wanting you to chase her. She's wanting you to have fun, right? But look at all that extra energy she has to give. Now, if we were doing controlled retrieves, I wouldn't let her run off like that and play. But I'm just trying to show you guys the raw drive of the dog. What is that? Are we on, is that 5? 6? 4? Okay. 5. We'll go to 7. That's a good number for this dog. That's 6. And that's 7. Okay. All right. Now, does that dog look like she still wants to play fetch? Okay. And listen, she would play fetch like that until she just falls over. You know, and it's kind of hot out here today, so like you could really overheat this dog, right? But overall impressions, like that right there, would you like to have a dog get fetched that much? Okay, yes. But now what if I told you that having a dog that fetches that much requires a dedicated amount of time every morning, every afternoon, and every night, 7 days a week? Would you, does the fetching mean that much to you that you'd be willing to get up earlier and forego some golfing and go to bed a little later just to exercise the dog? And be honest.
Probably wouldn't want to as much.
Probably wouldn't want to as much. Okay, and that's what we're after here, guys, is we're after honesty. And what Woods is saying is he loves to come visit a dog like mine that likes to play fetch a whole bunch, but he doesn't really want the daily responsibilities associated with having a dog that likes to fetch quite that much and needs that much exercise time. All right, so now we'll go get Woods' actual dog and we'll compare the two. Okay, so we went and got Woods' dog, Millie, and we're gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna position myself over here a little ways, Woods, and you call Millie to you.
Millie, come on. Millie, Millie, come. Millie, come on.
And then pet on her and love on her, give her a treat. Very good. Millie, come. Now it's pretty hot today, and so you might not see quite as much enthusiasm out of this dog as you saw yesterday. Go ahead.
Millie, come on.
Millie, come. Oh, that's a good dog. Good dog. Very nice.
Millie, Millie, come on. Millie, come. Millie, come on. Millie, come on.
So what would you kind of notice right off the bat in terms of how they come?
She doesn't listen as good.
Well, she just doesn't have quite as much energy, right? Okay, well, a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's hot right now, okay? And these English chubbies, they don't do quite as well in the heat. They're a lot more dense. And usually what I would do before I brought her out here in the sun is I'd go ahead and let her get in the pool, okay? So this is her straight out of the house, and that's kind of what the energy level you're gonna be able to expect out of this type of dog when it's hot. Wouldn't you say it's fair, cameraman? Okay, so Woods, run back down there to the flat part and have her chase you and play with you.
Come on, Millie. Come on.
Cameraman, you can come on up here a little ways. There you go, just run around, play. There you go, good dog. Very nice. Okay, then I'm gonna call her from you. Millie, come. Can you see that good, cameraman? Good. Okay, now you call her and run up here towards me a little bit and then run back.
Come on, Millie.
Now watch this tongue start hanging out already. He's got that fatigue meter. Millie, come. But still a good, animated recall. Good. Now run.
Millie, come on, Millie.
Good. Now kind of run a big figure 8 out there so we can see her chasing you and stuff. Let me give her a treat. Just make you a figure 8 right there in the flat.
Come on, Millie. Millie. Millie, come on.
Run up this way, Wood, so we can see you a little better. Yeah, right in this area on this hill right here. Just keep running. You don't have to worry about any treats right now. Just run a figure 8 right there. Good.
Millie. Millie, come on.
They call her real excitedly.
Millie, come on.
Okay, there you go. Good. Then run back towards me a little bit. Good. And then shuffle backwards a little bit. Good. And then go cut across. Good. We're trying to get a full range way of looking at her. Okay, now up to this point, again, she came to us each time. She followed you around. She played with you. What would you say is maybe just a little bit different?
I mean, she's a little bit less excited.
A little bit less excited, a little bit less energetic. Okay, now we're going to translate that right over to the fetching. So cameraman, if you want to go up there to that spot, and then Wood, you can come maybe right about here, okay, and look at the camera. And let me get out of the way, and you're going to do the same thing that you did with Annie, and we're going to count her retrieves. So throw that retrieving item kind of towards the cameraman, not too far, just right up here about where the cameraman is. All right, so that's 1, kind of dropped it at your feet, but
Come on, Millie. Touch.
now, see, she's just kind of looking at you like, all right, I already did it once, Right, so I'm gonna toss it back to you. We'll see if give you one more chance there. All right. Okay, well, there you go. So, basically, were both the dogs friendly?
Yeah.
Okay. Wood says both the dogs are friendly. Were both the dogs pretty easy to walk on the leash?
Yep.
Both the dogs pretty easy to walk on the leash. All right, so just based on what you know up to this point, what do you think the main difference between having your dog and Annie is going to be in terms of your commitment to being a good dog owner?
I think that Annie's going to take a little bit more time and effort. She wants to play more and more energetic. And
That's it,
she's
right? Yeah.
A bit more calmer.
And that's really it. And Woods' dog, in all honesty, is going to do a little bit better on the golf course. And maybe, if I have to be honest with myself, maybe a little bit better looking, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? What were you saying when the other dog came out? She's kind of tall and skinny and kind of got a narrow head. Yeah, and that's it, guys. And if we, kind of boil it down to a couple of things, you have to like the way your dog acts. You like to have the lifestyle that matches your dog. And, as shallow as this seems, really, you need to kind of like the way your dog looks too, right?
Yep.
All right, well, thanks for helping us out.
Thank you, Stonnie.
You ladies, be sure to put your numbers down in the comment section for my man, the golfer Woods. And we'll see y'all next week. Come on, Woods. I will give Woods a bunch of ladies. Or people at least say they're ladies.